Let's start with this Miami game, okay? Number 8, Miami is traveling to Cal. The other game, by the way, is Virginia Tech at Stanford. We'll talk about that. But kind of cool from a fan perspective, the Virginia Tech Stanford game's at 3:30. You could go to that game, and then I'm not sure how far. I'm assuming traffic, whatever. Get over to Cal for the 10:30 p.m. game. This game's at 10:30. Last I looked, Mac, tell me if this has changed. Miami's a 10-point favorite, and this
That's
game
right.
is Saturday, 10:30 p.m. on ESPN. This game is interesting on many levels. You have, of course, the cross-country travel. You have College Game Day being at Cal for the first time ever, which takes Cal off the list of Power 4 programs who've never hosted. Right now it's Illinois, Maryland, Rutgers, Syracuse, and Virginia. So very interesting.
Well,
And
Big
so you have
Ten
all these
ACC
factors.
showdown there.
I know we need a Syracuse Virginia game day game is really what we need. You have Marshawn Lynch just announced as the guest picker. That's going to be amazing. Marshawn Lynch, Pat McAfee, and Nick Saban on one desk. Sign me up for that. But I think the big question overall is, can Miami bounce back? Like, is this program and this team going to be able to say that Virginia Tech game was an aberration? We had
Yeah.
turnovers, we had issues, maybe we weren't as focused. And can we go dominate and look like a top 10 team? Or are we going to have another weirdly close game this week, Mac?
Right. Right. I think what's interesting about this, number one, the line, with it being 10, uh, hammer Miami. I mean, I just
You
feel
think?
really good about that. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
and I know the stats and the defense and the turnovers, and maybe that plays a part. But when I look at, really who they've played and the offenses that they've played, you haven't seen anything like what you're about to see
True.
Saturday night. I mean, this team for Miami is the real deal. And Cam Ward, I mean, I've got a tape on him, KG, this weekend. And really what I wanted to do with the tape was just show all these unbelievable arm angles. And I didn't
Ooh,
have
yeah.
to look anywhere but last game at Virginia Tech. And I'm talking about sideways arm angles, push passes, floater, underhand. I mean, he is literally Patrick Mahomes of college. I mean, that's who he is. He's throwing the ball
Sure.
all kinds of different ways. And then the ownership of the offense. There's another play in there where, if you guys remember, they were closer to the goal line, maybe about the 20-ish yard line going in, and Cam Ward checks the play, goes up to the line of scrimmage, tells everybody whatever he tells them, looks to the wide receivers and does a couple of little hand signs. So he checks to a post to George, and it's a touchdown. And it's just the ownership of the offense, what he really sees, how he sees it, and then just the ability to make rocket laser passes, touch passes, behind the back, whatever you want. He can do it. Okay. And that's been the most impressive thing, really to me, about this offense. Continuing to see the run game. We saw Cam Ward run it more than we have this entire season. Had a couple of touchdown scores last week. And I don't know. Give credit where credit's due. Cal's defense has been very opportunistic, top in the country with turnovers and creating turnovers, the things they've been able to do. But you haven't seen this yet. And we'll see. We'll see what holds true.
I think you're right, Mac. And, Cal's defense, they have 8 interceptions on the season. A lot of those came in the win at Auburn. They are number 1 in the ACC in turnover margin, +8, which is big. They haven't turned the ball over either. They've been great in that category. And Miami, really the turnover bug just kind of hit them against Virginia Tech. Just a few weird
Right.
plays that happened. And it feels like, honestly, the way Cam Ward plays, I know that he's not like he's had to pick every game, but because he takes some risks,
Yeah.
he can throw a pick a game. And
Mm-hmm.
generally it's fine. Now, if you're not having other issues go on, other turnovers, like they did
Right.
against Virginia Tech, then that can be, that's a problem.
Yeah.
But just the way he plays, Mac, it feels like he might throw a pick and it's okay. He
Right.
moves on.
Right. And I think what's interesting, sorry to interrupt there, what was
No, you're
interesting
good.
about one of the picks that happened is, if you guys remember back, and I just got done watching this the other day, yesterday, there was a play that happened where there was a really, really, really weak holding call that was called on
Mm.
Miami. That was a touchdown. And it was a great pass. It was great effort. It was one that, again, George made on the sideline, double tapped in. I mean, NFL type stuff. And it got called back. The very next play, they baited Cam into a pick. So honestly, shouldn't even have happened. And maybe the game gets out of hand at that point if Virginia
I
Tech
think it
doesn't
does.
get the
I thought
ball.
that pick was the turning
Yeah.
point of the game.
Yeah, I did too. So, it is interesting, but I hear you. I'm with you. Like, he does extend things sometimes a little too much and tries to do a little too much. And that did result in some really effective and negative penalties, or excuse me, turnovers for Miami if he just, kind of dials it back a little bit, which I'm sure you take that, right, with the miraculous stuff. It's just part
Yeah,
of it. And not saying that he has any type of turnover problem as of right now, but it is something where it's like, hey, like this can hurt us. Let's just understand the situation, understand what we're doing a little bit more as we move forward.
I agree, Mac. And he still, to me, is leading the Heisman conversation or right there with Jalen Milrow or Milrow's right there with him because of what he's done leading the nation with touchdown passes in 18. And this will be another interesting test going across the country. The thing that I'm probably most curious about for Miami, I feel like I know what I'm going to see from the offense. The defense and really the rushing yards they gave up. I know Bashal Tutin is a great player for Virginia Tech,
Yeah.
not trying to take away from him, but Tootin was able to run the ball on Miami. And you have Jade Knott for Cal, who's a very talented back. I want to see how this Miami defense holds up. But the good news is I'm going to take this quote from Cristobal and pretty much think that Ruben Bain is going to play. When he said that Bain looked great in warmups last week, he was right there, probably could have played last week. We chose and medically chose the right route to keep him out, but it seems like he's going to be back. He even said, let's go find out what type of player he is. So you
Yeah.
bring Ruben Bain back, huge difference maker. Plus, Mac, and I know you can speak to this, the Cal O-line has looked a little sus. They've given up 16 sacks this season, worst in the ACC, tied for 126 nationally.
Yeah.
So
Not good.
I want to see this Miami defense look good. I think that's really important for them to look good in this game.
Yeah, no, 1,000%, and having a guy of that magnitude back is a big deal. The way Miami announced it on social media was really cool, and then just
Oh,
to
okay, then
have
I
that guy's
missed that.
presence. Oh,
I
he's
must have
back.
missed the
He's all the
social
way
media
back.
announcement.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah,
good.
yeah. He's there.
Sorry, I
He's
haven't
there.
had power.
That's. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see it because again, he's the type of guy that now you have that surefire dude there, and others can go back to being in a supplemental role or change or do ask a little bit less of just because you have a guy that is that talented out there. And as you mentioned, an absolute field day getting in the backfield, whether that's tackles for loss, sacks. I mean, these guys are going to wreak havoc back there just simply because of what they do. And Cal, not the most mobile quarterback in Mendoza, right?
Right.
I mean, he can get out of it linear, straight line. I'm okay with it, but it takes a while to kind of get to that point, and I just don't know if you're going to have that. So I'm excited to see this defensive line literally at the full strength of who they want to be, what they're going to be, and we saw it for 4 plays against Florida. I mean, that's how long it's been. Essentially, you go back to last year until we saw what Ruben Bain was able to do. So excited to see him get back out there, do his thing, and I think that's going to shore up a lot of things, especially in that run defense, as you said. Jade not special. Haven't really
Mhm.
seen him be fully healthy. I hope that's a full go, and he can be the special player that he is moving forward for Cal as well.
Mac, I think we're both at this point, it's probably obvious, leaning Miami to cover
Yeah.
the 10. And I wanted to ask you this as someone who's played, and, Clemson and Miami kind of in similar spots geographically when you look at the big picture. What would it have been like for you? Can you just imagine, like, what would have been the factors? How would it have changed things if you guys, when you were at Clemson, went and played Cal,
Yeah.
10:30 p.m. kick?
Right.
I'm assuming Miami's leaving. I'm guessing Thursday. Most of the time when you
Yeah.
play a Saturday game,
Probably.
you leave Friday. Like, what would have been different for you, Mac, as a player?
Yeah, and it's what's interesting about that. I'm trying to think like what was the farthest away we went, like
It was a
even
different
west.
time.
Yeah, like obviously we went down to Miami, we went up to Syracuse. I don't remember going
No,
west at
probably
all
Louisville.
while I was playing. Yeah, look, we went to Louisville once while I was playing, and I think that
Probably
was
it.
that was probably the farthest because we never went to Texas. That has to be it. That's the farthest I went. We're literally in a different world where you're
Different
going
world.
across the entire freaking country. But I will say we played late games. Like the national championship, I mean, that thing kicked off.
Yeah.
I think it was like 9 o'clock. I mean, it was so 8 o'clock. It was so late. For us
But
now,
this is
obviously, this is a
10:30.
different bear, 10:30. But at the end of the day, KG, we were kids. We were young men and women. It doesn't matter. Just go play. Like we're having a good time. You're so young. You don't know. You don't care. Just go show up. I feel bad for the coaches. They're like, what the heck are we doing? This sucks. But it'll be fun. And obviously the attention of the world, the college football world, when you're that late game, it's such a joy. Let me tell you guys how much of a sicko I am. I work all day long. watching and talking football. And my biggest joy of the day is after we are all the way done, getting home at 12:30, and I can turn on the 10 o'clock game and still
Oh,
watch a half of football uninterrupted. Don't have to watch multiple things and just watch that one. So I am so excited that it's Miami, that it's Cal. We get to watch those guys. But I don't think too much into it, KG,
okay.
from like just a player perspective. They'll be fine. They're going to be excited. I think it actually helps Miami that game day's there. I think it supercharges this
Interesting.
game. And maybe after, kind of the drama and whatever, there's a chance for a letdown. I think that's totally gone. That's totally gone now.